Confessions of a Wordsmith. Usually I start with the title of my writing project and then I go from there. I always try to take in consideration the title will be the first thing you see, so I need to make it as eye-catching as possible. But I'll be honest and say that as of right now it's called Untitled. I'm sure by the end of this I will have one, but for now, Untitled is the name. The reason why it's untitled is because I know that some of the stuff that I want to talk about has been on my mind, but I don't think they all fit into one particular category. I'm always looking for some inspiration to start my next writing project. Sometimes that's easier than others, and other times I go months on end without any type of inspiration to write a full-fledged piece. What you are about to hear are things I've observed, things that were said to me, emotions that I felt, emotions that I'm not familiar with, as well as emotions that confuse me because I don't understand it well. The issue for me now is that I have to think of what should be the first thing I talk about, and honestly, I have no clue. I think I'll talk about this gentleman who comes into my work frequently. Now, I don't know his name, I don't know much about him. I have no way of contacting him if he doesn't come in. Now, from my understanding, I think he will see this video, and if he does, actually better yet, let me start from the beginning of how he came to be. He has come in a couple times before and always had small talk about our days and things were just things. They weren't all that important. And then one day, he came in and I helped him. During our discussion, the topic of school came up and he asked me if I was in school. I told him no, I wasn't. School was never my strong suit and chalked it up to it being a waste of money for me personally. He looked back at me, just nodded and told me that he thought it was pretty cool that I accepted what was reality instead of giving myself false lies. I told him, yeah, I just didn't see fit to waste the money and time as well as what I wanted to do didn't exactly need a degree. He asked me what it was that I wanted to do, and I told him I wanted to become a writer. I said this, two thoughts came into play. The first one being how much I hate saying that I want to become a writer, when there are students who work with me as well as go to school for engineering of types. It's like, oh, what is your biggest passion? What is it that you do? Oh, I make sentences and sometimes I read stuff. The second thought I had was the simple fact that the term writer is so generic and that I like the term wordsmith better. It just sounds more appealing. After I told him that I wanted to become a writer, I'm pretty sure he asked me if I had anything else published. I told him no, but I do have a YouTube channel. He asked me what it was, and as I was telling him, I was going to do the polite thing and ask him if he wanted me to write it down for him. But the next thing I know, he's looking to the YouTube channel names, asking me which one. I told him which one, and he subscribed to me right then and there. Shock in my voice, I told him thank you, then told him if he looks up any of the videos, Dear You is my favorite. He said, all right, that'll be the first one I look up. And with that, he left. A few days later, he came in again and was telling me his thoughts on the video, and then I found out he watched the other videos, but he hasn't listened to compliments yet. But that was the next one he was going to listen to. We had small talk again. I listened to his thoughts on my writing, and he was telling me how good it was and that I had a talent. Which of course I thanked him for and said nothing else, even though I wanted to deny that talent. As he was walking out the door, I told him that I had news about the spooky scary contest that my spooky story was for, and that there was another one this year. The look on his face lit up so brightly, and he said, "You're entering, right? You better be entering." I said, "Of course I am." And he did a little fist pump and said, "Yes, I can't wait." And he walked out the door. When he left, I stood there in awe and thought to myself that this complete stranger is excited for something that I am creating, something that I put so much raw emotion into, something that makes me, me, and the only time I can be confident without anxiety kicking in. Now, the most recent encounter, I think this gentleman and I got to see how much I don't believe in myself. He was waiting in line, and I started the last steps before wrapping up his sandwich. I don't remember the details due to emotions and incidents and things, but the gist of it was simple. He complimented me, and he was telling me that I actually have a talent and so on and so forth. This time, I told him, I'm all right. The look on his face said it all. Did he really just say that? Before he could say anything else, I told him creators always think their work isn't good enough. Then he asked me if it was me being hard on myself or the creators don't think yada yada yada. I was ashamed of my answer and looked away because I knew the answer I was going to give him wasn't the best one. But it was the truth. I told him a bit of both, but to be honest, I just don't think highly of myself. All he could do was look at me and say, "You sicken me. I wish I had the talent you do." That hit hard. I never thought of it like that, but that was the entire reason why I started writing publicly. To be the voice for the ones who don't have a voice, for the ones who are too scared to speak up. It's why I am more than willing to talk about the topics that go unspoken. Depression, anxiety, mental health, love, self-love, suicide. I talk about these things because they are the things that we, as a human race, feel together. We don't have to look the same, act the same, walk, talk, or even speak the same language. But at the end of the day, emotions are emotions, and it's all part of human nature. After he told me that he wished he had the talent I did, the only thing I can muster up to say was, I know when I speak about something that I am passionate about, people listen. I know people will listen to my voice if I am loud enough. Then I followed with, making myself public is like me trying to accept that I have something. I don't know what it is, but it's there. He said, you wouldn't be making these videos if you thought that they were completely bad. I mean, he wasn't wrong. If I thought that fully, I would have been too scared to start these. The reason why I chose to start this topic was because this was the most important of the topics in my head. Because a stranger who comes into my work has given me the push to want to do more. If I could have 100 people with that look in their eyes the way he did, I would be satisfied. If I got to 1,000 people, I would almost die. And if I ever got to 100,000 people, wow. He doesn't know just how much he helped me want to write more. The fact that he was excited for something that I am creating makes me all kind of happy. This is what I wanted. This is my goal. I want people to be happy. I want them to hear my voice and know that things will get better. Things will be okay. I want to fix everyone. To clarify, no, I don't think this man is broken, but who knows? No one at my work knows how sad I am or the weight of depression I have. No one knows I have severe anger issues. No one knows that I have ill-mannered thoughts before. But my point is, I don't know this man's story, but I know I help in some way or another by adding a chapter to it, and that makes me happy. Chances are that he will hear this. I did warn him I was going to write and include him in it. So with that being said, thank you, my friend. You have ignited a spark in this wordsmith's mind and reminded me why I do what I do. Now the next part is going to be a stab in the dark. I don't want to talk about it too much because some of it's super personal stuff, but I figured it's good to include it because it's an ordinary human emotion, so the ones who know me well, and even the ones I work with on a daily basis, know that I'm a very calm and reserved person. Sometimes I have a hard time portraying emotions and such, and I always look super calm or pissed off. And now recently, I've met someone who makes me flustered. I won't talk about who they are or how I met them, just in case they watch this. They did ask for my channel, and I sent it, but whether or not they check it out is entirely up to them. Anyways, I have met someone who every time I see her, I get super flustered. Don't get me wrong, I know this is a perfectly normal emotion that people feel, but I have never felt this one before. No one makes me flustered. No one makes me forget what steps to do to make a sandwich, something that I have 4 years of experience with. You know, it's funny when my coworker sees it and all he could do is just smile from ear to ear because it's not something I usually do. I don't know why this person makes me flustered. I don't know why this person makes me forget how to do proper human functions. I do know, however, that I want her to be my friend. Now, my third topic at hand has something to do with someone who is very important to me. I have known this person for a very long time, rounding up to almost a decade. I am starting to develop feelings for this person, and the term develop feelings for really has me in a confused state because I have never looked at this person from a relationship point of view. I mean, we had crushes on each other way before, and this was also before we had ever met. We were only over texts and voices and pixels. But we never told our little crushes to each other because we thought it would be one-sided. Which leads me to my feelings now. As of right now, I would like to say that those developed feelings are just a crush, and that it's only going to be one-sided again, especially since we have met in person. Personally, I want to believe that the crushes we had could happen for both of us present day, but at the same time, I don't want to get hopeful or destroy our long-term friendship because I got blinded and acted out of a normal feeling that I don't usually have. That being said, this is where my scaredness comes into play. I begin to think of ways of telling her how I feel, but then I get scared and my anxiety comes to pay me a visit, reminding me that I should wait a little while. I shouldn't scare her away or destroy this friendship. And then I think of when I should tell her, but my anxiety hasn't left and just reminds me that I should see how she feels to make sure it's not one-sided. But I get scared of that too because that is something I don't think I want to know. I'm not sure if it's the lack of confidence or not thinking highly of myself, but I am already trying to convince myself that these feelings or emotions, or whatever you would like to call them, are one-sided. Why would a girl like her put thought into something like that about a guy like me when she could find better? I know. I shouldn't try to make assumptions because I don't know how she feels about the idea, but I know I am the perfect recipe to only ever stay in the friend zone. And even though I hate the term friend zone, I use it because that's what it is. It's not a bad place to be in, like how society makes it out to be. I just know I have all the qualifications of one. I will ask this though. Is it wrong to have feelings for someone that you have known for so long when there has never been a thought of it before? If I had to pick one thing from each of these things that I've told previously, I would start off with a story about the customer. I would say that the customer is the entire reason why I started writing this project. When he told me, "You make me sick, I wish I had the talent you did," that sent everything into motion. And then from that point on, I wanted to make it into a confession thing because they were all the things that weren't bad. They were all good things. For the second part, I would take away from it that emotions are normal. Angry, happy, sad, even flustered are all normal. And just because you haven't felt something before doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It's just giving you the chance to grow as a human and learn from the actions and feelings that you create. You are your own best teacher. And for the last part, to answer my question, it's not wrong. It's only wrong when those feelings and emotions blind you from the friendship that was already there. Just because something new comes into play shouldn't make everything else that was there already get shaken away. Remember the value of the friendship, and I don't need to let my feelings prevent basic and friendly communication. So, there you have it, guys. Some of the stuff that has been on my mind recently. Good things too, I'd say. Love yourself, be kind to others. Remember, we are all humans that all feel the same thing. These are confessions of a wordsmith.